Calgary Flames trade rumors are heating up as new trade destinations have been revealed for Flames All-Star Nazem Kadri. In a summer full of rumors and not much action, Kadri's name has been thrown around the trade rumor mill like crazy. But will a trade involving Kadri ever even happen? We're going to get into all that and more in this video, but first I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family. And YouTube's telling me that only around a third of the people watching are subscribed, so if you do me that favor, hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. Would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family. Well, let's hop in and talk about these destinations. And we have a new article that just came out this morning. It comes from Sportsnet, of all places, raising their prices for able to watch the games next year. But either way, this one's written by Ryan Dixon, and he writes 5 potential trade destinations for Flames center Nazem Kadri. And look, Kadri trade rumors, kind of, let's be honest, a little bit baloney in a way, because he said he wants to be here, but he also said it's been rumored that he'd be willing to waive his no trade for a certain team or teams, and I don't know. It's a lot of he say, she say. We don't really know what's going on. Conroy certainly hasn't said he wants to trade Kadri, but there's been lots of mixed reports. But either way, it's interesting no matter what to go over some potential trade destinations. So let's hop in. This first one is not new, but it's the Montreal Canadiens because in a way it might be the most likely. So the Habs entered the offseason with a throbbing need at 2C and have been linked to just about any player who could possibly fill that hole. The innuendos in that first stanza or couple lines there, whatever you want to say, is that's a little bit ridiculous, but let's continue. Even after acquiring Noah Dobson at the draft, Montreal's cache of picks and prospects is such that it would have more than enough powder to get a deal for Kadri done. The Habs have a number of youngsters who have spent a year or two in the AHL and appear ready or almost ready for NHL duty. That might be just the demo that piques Calgary's interest. Of course, Kadri grew up a Habs fan in Southern Ontario and got booed in the Bell Centre when the hated Toronto Maple Leafs drafted him 7th overall in 2009. Maybe Canadiens fans are ready to make amends. And yeah, it's kind of mixed emotions from Habs fans online. Some of them would love to get Kadri and would kind of do it no matter what since they have so much to give. And others are like, no way would we ever want him. He's so old, doesn't fit. And I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer to it, but the Habs, it does make sense for both sides. But again, I don't know if it would ever actually happen. Now, the next team is interesting. The New Jersey Devils. So New Jersey needs some nasty. The Devils have 2 great centers in Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier, the latter of whom is a fantastic two-way player. Could you imagine slotting Kadri in as the number 3? That would provide the Devils with unmatched depth down the middle, and you could even kick Hughes out to wing from time to time if the moment called for it, or you could kick Kadri. The Devils are a talented group, but Kadri would provide some bite the team lacks. New Jersey coach Sheldon Keefe would also certainly have some familiarity with the player thanks to their shared time in the Leafs organization. So, seeing New Jersey as a destination makes sense in this scenario. You know, they could obviously use Kadri, but if we're going along the lines of, he could be our number 3 center, there's a lot of teams in the league that would love to have Kadri as their number 3 center, I think. I mean, on a team like the Flames, he's obviously the number 1 center, and there's a few other teams in the league like that. But, you know, any contenders would love to have Kadri. It's just a matter of being able to afford him and giving the Flames what they want in a trade. So, New Jersey, yeah, it makes sense. I think he'd fit in well there, but I just don't see a trade with them being all that likely. But I've been proven wrong before, as regular viewers of the channel will know. Next team, the Carolina Hurricanes. Keep it with those red, black, and white teams in the Metro. So the Canes bolstered the flank by signing winger Nikolai Ehlers in free agency, but Carolina could still use help down the middle. Kadri would slot in perfectly behind top-line pivot Sebastian Aho. I said a boom, boom, boom. Let me hear say Aho, Aho, and ahead of big third center Jordan Staal. So putting Kadri into that 2C would be amazing. The Hurricanes have over $10 million in cap space even after signing Ehlers. The Canes have been in go-for-it mode all year for how many years now, making the bold play to acquire Mikko Rantanen from Colorado in January, inquiring about Mitch Marner at the trade deadline when it became clear Rantanen would not sign to stay in Raleigh, then aggressively maneuvering to land Ehlers via free agency and defenseman K'Andre Miller via trade. in the offseason. It's been crazy for Carolina, so could Kadri end up there? Carolina has an extra 2028, so a couple years away, first rounder, thanks to the deal that sent Rantanen to the Stars at the trade deadline. How much better would the Canes feel lining up against the Panthers in the playoffs if they had Kadri in the lineup to combat the shift disturbers in Florida's crew? That's a good way to censor yourself, I guess. But it is true. I mean, we've seen, I guess, the more aggressive type Flames move on and do really well in the Eastern Conference playoffs. Imagine Kadri going up against Tkachuk and Bennett. It's just ridiculous to think about. But Carolina, they do have a first rounder that maybe the Flames would be willing to have, because how many more years can Carolina kind of stick in it? You know, a 2028 first rounder isn't bad. It's just a little late for the window that we want when we're ready to obviously be really good. And if we're trading Kadri away now, you'd expect, you know, something that could help the lineup a little sooner, like a prospect that's already there, or, you know, next year's draft. But either way, interesting overall to see Carolina mentioned as well. The next team, Colorado Avalanche, of course. Get the band back together? An interesting question. Basically, the Avs won the 2022 title, then lost captain Gabriel Landeskog to a knee injury for 3 years, and watched Kadri walk out the door that summer as an unrestricted free agent. Given how perfectly suited to playoff hockey both those guys are, it's no wonder Colorado has managed just a single series of victories since both, for different reasons, were torn from the lineup. How much would the complexion of the Avs change if they repatriated Kadri too, as well as bringing back Landeskog, essentially? Colorado signed deadline acquisition Brock Nelson to a 3-year deal, but could conceivably pop him out to wing on one of the top two lines. Still, this one feels like a long shot thanks to the Avs' relatively tight cap situation. One option for a deal might be if Colorado sent 26-year-old Marty Necas the other way, freeing up $6.5 million in space. Necas, as it happens, sits alongside Kadri on the latest trade board compiled by Sportsnet's Nick Kiprio. So interesting overall there. Why not just give us Cale Makar, and he can sign here like he's going to anyway. Just do it a little early. Why not? But Colorado, interesting again. I just don't see it being all that likely, to be quite frank with you, but that's just how it is. Now, the last one, it has to be mentioned because it's mentioned all the time, but the Toronto Maple Leafs. We've already put one of Kadri's former clubs on this list, and Lord knows we'll hear about it if we don't include the other one. 6 summers ago, Kadri was dealt by former Leafs GM Kyle Dubas to Colorado for defenseman Tyson Barrie and center Alex Kerfoot. Ugh. Kadri's time in Toronto was ultimately marred by not one but 2 suspensions in consecutive playoff seasons. It's not happening. I don't think Kadri wants to go there at all. I don't think, there's anything that the Leafs have that the Flames would want in a trade for Kadri, unless it's, Austin Matthews or Willie Nylander, but obviously that's getting ahead of yourself there. So it gets mentioned every time. It's just not happening. I don't know why people in the media, especially at places like Sportsnet that are supposed to be a little more esteemed, are still mentioning the Leafs when it comes to Kadri. And then I know it just gets recycled onto this channel. I'm sorry. That's just how it is. I got to keep you guys updated. But either way, interesting overall. But the real question is it going to happen? And personally, this is more of a personal take. It's not going to happen. It's really never going to happen. A Kadri trade in general, I mean. So Frank Saravalli, the guy who is coming up with all these Kadri rumors, now says they're not interested in moving him. Sources indicate the Flames really haven't engaged in any of those conversations. It would take a heck of an offer. So now after he's, linked Kadri to Toronto, Montreal, wherever else, not that he wrote that article, I'm just saying in the past, now he's saying, no, the Flames, they're not interested in moving him. They haven't had any talks about Kadri trade talks. So what's going on here? It just supports the fact that I really think a Kadri trade, it's just not going to happen. At least not yet. Not this offseason, not this whole season, not until probably the last year of his contract or something, unless he really does want out and wants a shot at another cup. But he's happy here. He's been a huge part of the culture that's been built here, and I think he wants to be here. So why are we even talking about this? So an interesting little thing just to add to what was just said. So while the NHL offseason has been incredibly slow thus far, the rumor mill has been in overdrive, with Calgary Flames star Nazem Kadri being right at the center of plenty of speculation in the past few months. However, to this point, there's been very few signs that the Flames are motivated to move him, and in his latest update, NHL insider Frank Saravalli has revealed a definitive update on the situation, as I just showed you. So we talk about all these Kadri trade rumors. It's just not going to happen. And that's kind of my personal take on this. Who knows what could happen, but feel free to let me in the comments below. let me know in the comments down below. Do you think Kadri will get traded this offseason or throughout next year? Is it even a possibility? Feel free to let me know. Now let's wrap up this video with the comment of the day, as we love to do here on the channel. It comes from the most recent video, of course, which was, essentially just talking about Zane Parekh. And Jonesy the First, great character from the video game Fortnite, says, "Bro's really glazing Zane. I love it. Can't wait to see him play." I will never not talk so highly of Zane Parekh. He seems unreal. But I agree with you there. Can't wait to see him play more. We got one game as a little teaser. It was fantastic, and hopefully we get a full season of it next year. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe like you saw here today, and have a wonderful rest of your day.